My name is Matti, and I'm the founder of snoopForms. And snoopForms is the open source Typeform alternative. So it's all about forms and surveys.
So, Matti, why did you decide to build snoopForms when there is already a Typeforms available?
And it's also not only Typeforms. We are currently looking for a new name for our startup because some people weren't sure if snoopForms is the best name. So we are now looking to new names, and it's so hard to find a new name because every name with form and something in the front or in the back of the name is already taken. So there are already a lot of form startups. But I was working the last few years as a freelancer, and somehow I was always doing forms because forms is about automation in businesses. It's about getting kind of information from a customer, from an employee, and putting them into your own systems. But it's very different what kind of customers do you have and what kind of information you want to have. And also it's a lot of there are a lot of different cases what you want to do with the data. Do you want to analyze it? Do you want to put it into your own databases? Do you want to send emails to all these people? And so always, nearly as a developer, if it gets more complex, you always build your own custom systems. And especially in bigger enterprises, that's a huge problem because you can use Typeform, but you most often you want to integrate the forms directly into your product. And with Typeform, you have a cut. You have your customers get a new page, they fill out the Typeform, and then they get back to your page. And most companies don't want that. And also in these projects where I worked, that wasn't an option. And also we had some challenges with privacy regulations, which are very strong here in Europe. And yeah, that's because I was somehow tired of building custom solutions over and over again. We decided to tackle these problems with snoopForms.
Cool. So, why did you decide to build snoopForms in open source?
I did a few open source projects in the past, but very small, just kind of testing out the space. And the feedback was always so great. It was a so kind of loving community. You get feedback from people a lot easier. You can get in touch with your customers or with your users much better. You can build together, and that's why, especially because there are already so many open source, so many form solutions out there, everybody builds a custom solution. And that's why we think that starting that open source and let everybody kind of add their own use cases and build their own components is a great thing. So we want to build kind of the last form tool humanity needs.
Why folks should contribute to open source? Because especially in my local community, folks feel that contributing to open source, contributing to others projects is kind of like a waste of time when you can focus on studying data structure and algorithms which can help you clear interviews, and whereas you're contributing to others projects. So where do you stand on that? Why should folks contribute to open source?
So there are multiple reasons. I think the first one would be just like strategic from a kind of building your own career, especially when you're a young programmer. You don't have a lot of experience and a lot to show future employers. And when you contribute to an open source solution, you can learn a lot from how the product is already like structuring the code, what packages do they use, how do they do it, and also then by contributing you build some kind of portfolio for you, like for example, like designers doing a lot of graphics and have their Behance portfolio which they can share. Young developers can just share their GitHub repository, GitHub link, and everybody can see how skilled this person is and what programming language he or she knows, and so it's great for building a portfolio. But also it's a lot of fun. It's just when you love programming, it's always fun to kind of dig into new code spaces, or try out some new products and see that you can actually build something. And that's always a great feeling. And it's also that the open source community, that way, it's kind of easy entry point. For example, if you, let's say snoopForms, you're interested in the space, and you think like, hey, I think that could be something that I want to build in the future, and I think that could be something that I want to do more. You can just start contributing. And also, if then you kind of building the project with us, and at some point we can also say, yeah, you're doing a great job. Do you want to join the team? And also get you some money for that. And so yeah, it's I think it's always great contributing to open source.
I totally agree with you, Matty. So let's say we talk about snoopForms, and I found a bug. So what do I do?
You go to github.com/snoopforms/snoopforms. It's first the company, then the project. Then you have this issue tab, and you can just open an issue and say, so that would be, I think, the first thing. You can just say, hey, there is an issue. So that's always great that we know that there's an issue and we can fix that. Or you can also fix the issue yourself. So if you, for example, if you're a software developer and you know how it works, you can just clone the repository to your local system, fix the bug, make a pull request, and kind of get all the fame related to contributing to the project and fixing a bug. And you have your problem solved depends on your bug and your programming skill, but you can just fix your problem yourself. Or you post it in an issue and we fix it within let's say 1 or 2 days.
Also, what is the best way to resolve doubts while working on the issues? Like, do you have a Discord server or a community forum where you discuss all your issues and help the folks in the community?
Yeah, great question. Like we started out with Discord, and it was, I think it was a good choice, because we get a lot of now we have 120 people in our Discord, and there are a lot of discussions about, hey, I need that feature, and we discuss about how you want to use it, why do you need that, and how we can build it, but also like issues. And it feels a bit more like a discussion. For example, with GitHub issues, it reminds me a lot of like old days where you have this forum or this online communities where it's a lot slower, and Discord is more like chat based, and it's much faster to ask questions. So if you kind of also interested in snoopForms, and also maybe to chat with us a bit more, joining Discord is a good start. And to join Discord, you can just go to snoopforms.com, and there we have a link how you can join the Discord.
Awesome. Also, Matty, what is the process of creating a pull request in snoopForms? Like, do you have a specific format, or how is it like?
Currently, we don't have a format. We have a, like, when you just think like, hey, this feature would be great, or here's a bug, you can just fix it. You can just create a pull request and describe what you've done, and then mostly I will look into it and kind of maybe give some feedback if for future strategy of snoopForms we need some adjustments, or we just merge it. And we also have a public roadmap. We are currently restructuring it, so it's not that full at the moment, but it's getting it will get full over the next few weeks again. And there we also lay down which features we think should be next, depending on the feedback that we got from all the users. And you can also just assign yourself or just say, hey, I want to do that feature, and then we assign it to you, and yeah, then you can build the feature. And also then most of the contributors at the moment are in kind of close contact with us, so we write or we chat every other day and discuss how we can do things, how they should be, how they should work, how they should look. And then if everybody's satisfied, you make the pull request, and we merge it into the code base, and then you officially build your own part of snoopForms.
From your answer, it feels like that snoopform community is very close knit. So, is it beneficial to keep contributing to a single or a couple of projects for a long period of time, or folks can also make contributions to various projects but single contributions? What do you think is has a higher weightage?
That's a tough and also good question. It's tough because for example, snoopForms is quite early, and I think getting into the code base of snoopForms isn't that hard, because it it isn't that complex already. And for example, it's then easy to contribute something to snoopForms, or also to another project that is in a kind of earlier stage, or hasn't or doesn't want to be that complex. But if you then, for example, take another open source maybe company, which is like a few years down the road, then I think getting into the code base takes a lot more time, and also the value for getting into the code base could be much higher for you. So maybe then it could be, if you already learned how that code base worked, and you're kind of enthusiastic about the product, I think it could be also a good idea to stick with one product and make contributions only there. But I think it's always a good idea to also check out other projects, because every project does something differently. And also some of the greatest things, I think, in computer science comes if you work on something else, and then you can see, they're doing that way. Maybe I could transform that kind of knowledge and use it in this project that I've worked on previously.
It makes sense. Totally makes sense. So let's say I want to be involved with the future of snoopforms. So what is the best way for me to do that?
I think the best way is just to join Discord and discuss with us what you want to do, how we can help you, how you can help us, and then we can just see what you want to do, what you want to achieve, and how we can help you with that, or what ideas you have. And maybe it's then easiest that we just jump on a quick call, get to know each other. But there isn't a very predefined process. We're just a few guys want to build great tech, and so just hit us up, and let's chat about it.
When we talk about contributing to open source, it can also be very confusing because all of the projects have various tech stacks. It's not like one project will have only a single language or a single framework.
Yeah, great question. We also try to make it somehow strategic how we come up with a tech stack. Like we could use some technologies, but we want to kind of build on the most popular frameworks, because we thought that most popular, but also some that people say, hey, that's a cool tech stack. I would like to work on that. And also, of course, we like the tech stack as well. So, but mainly it's JavaScript, TypeScript to be more specific. We use React. Let's say it's the most popular front-end framework for JavaScript, and we use Next.js for the server, and then we have Tailwind CSS for all the styling, and for the database model we use Prisma.
You mentioned a very interesting point that you selected the language and the tech stack based on the popularity. So, what steps have you taken to make snoopforms more accessible to the community?
We are trying currently to write good documentation. We are lacking a bit because it's always like, do you want to develop, or do we take the time to develop a new feature, or do you write the documentation? And as soon as you write a new feature, you should update the documentation. But we try to do that as fast as we can. And also, we try to get in touch with a lot of different developer communities, and also like indie hacker and developer communities, just get a lot of feedback. And that's also the great thing about open source. It's that people are somehow more engaged or are more willing to help and make the project better. For example, we just had a developer who made a pull request to add new features that make it much easier to work with Visual Studio Code and Docker with the whole stuff. So he have taken his workflow he used at his daytime job, and then said, yeah, why don't we use that in snoopForms? And we get a lot of those feedback, and based on that feedback, we always try to make it better, easier to get the whole stack running, easier to make the first contribution, easier to write a ticket. We just introduced templates for writing issues and writing feature requests. And also with every question that comes up in Discord, we update our our docs. Yeah, so it's still evolving, but with every question, the process gets better.